This is a production of Relay. They fell asleep to the drip of leaking coolant, the low thrum of cooling fans and each other's shallow breaths. Now Noel wakes to find Lina staring at the ceiling, at the telltale stains of water damage. "You okay?" Noel asks, pushing a stray strand of hair from her face. Lina shakes her head, turning instead to stare at Noel, her expression troubled. "I had a dream," Lina murmurs. "A monster made of radio waves and regret showed me things." She turns back to the ceiling, tracing the water stains with her fingertip. "Things I thought I'd buried." Noel reaches out, taking Lina's hand in theirs, surprised when she doesn't pull away. "What did it show you?" Lina squeezes Noel's hand slightly. "Then let's go." "A city, one we used to know." Noel's brows furrow. "What city?" Lina looks away. "Doesn't matter. We're not going back there." She sits up, pushes herself off her knees. "We should pack up, get moving again." "Okay," Noel agrees, though they can't help glancing at the scorched patch of carpet where the bonfire had been, where they'd shared stories and dreams before the world ended. Noel misses the warmth, misses the light. But the world is a dark place, and there is no safer time than the night before the dawn. So they pack up their meager belongings, carefully rewrapping the battered computers in protective padding, double-checking that every encryption drive and thumbstick is accounted for. They leave behind the charred remains of the bonfire, its glow fading to gray ash. They abandon the broken bones of the house to the wind, to the creeping vines that will soon swallow it whole. Leaving is easier said than done. It takes hours to cover their tracks, to wipe the contents from every drive, to reformat every device, to erase every trace of their presence. By the time they're done, the sun has risen, staining the sky with colors that haven't existed for decades. The world is still beautiful, even now, which makes it all the harder to leave. Noel and Lina find themselves standing at the edge of the woods, the road stretching ahead of them like a black ribbon, promising both freedom and peril. They check their gear one last time, making sure that every item is in its place, every tool ready for whatever the day might bring. Finally, Lina turns to the east, shielding her eyes against the rising sun. "Which way do we go?" she asks, her voice barely audible over the wind. The silence stretches between them, heavy and fraught with uncertainty. They don't know what lies ahead, but they know that wherever they go, they'll face danger. The past 2 years have taught them that survival in this world requires constant vigilance, unwavering resolve, and a willingness to confront the darkness that lurks around every corner, but it also requires trust. Trust in oneself, trust in others, and most importantly, trust in the journey. They may not know where they're going, but they know that they must keep moving forward, that they must keep searching for a better tomorrow, even when the darkness threatens to consume them. So, with a deep breath and a resolute nod, Noel and Lina start down the road, walking side by side into the unknown. Hours later, their feet bruised and aching, they sit beside a sputtering campfire, eating cold rations while the fire sputters in the darkness. They don't speak much, the silence punctuated only by the crackle of the flames and the rustle of the wind through the trees. But as the night wears on, they begin to share stories, tales of their past lives before the catastrophe, of their hopes and dreams for the future. They talk for hours, their voices growing softer and softer until they drift off to sleep. When they wake, the sun is high in the sky, and they can feel the weight of its heat on their skin. Hunger gnawing at their stomachs, they gather some berries and nuts, trying to make their meager rations last as long as possible. As they walk, they search for signs of life, for any indication that they're not alone in this vast wilderness. But all they find are empty fields and abandoned homes, silent testimonies to the lives that once thrived here. Days turn into weeks, and they continue their journey, driven by the hope of finding other survivors, of discovering a community that can help them rebuild their lives. But as the weeks turn into months, their hope begins to dwindle. They see few signs of life, and the ones they do find are often hostile. They learn to rely on their wits and their skills, hunting for rabbits and foraging for berries, sleeping under the stars and dodging the occasional raider. Through it all, they stick together, leaning on each other for support and comfort, sharing their fears and dreams as the miles roll by. One evening, as they sit around their small campfire, Lina speaks. "I keep having these dreams," she says, her voice soft but steady. "Dreams of a city, a place where people live, where there's hope." Noel nods, understanding. They too have been plagued by similar dreams, visions of a world that seems almost forgotten. I think we should go back, Lina continues, her gaze fixed on the flames. Go back to the city, Nell asks, their voice echoing her own thoughts. They had sworn never to return, but perhaps hope isn't always a bad thing. Hope can be a guiding light in the darkness, a reminder that even in the toughest times, the human spirit can endure. So they decide to go back, retracing their steps, hoping to find what Lina has seen in her dreams. As they approach the city, their hearts pound with anticipation. Could this be the haven they've been searching for all along? Could there be people here who can help them rebuild their lives? Or is this just another false hope in a world full of disappointments? When they finally reach the city, they're met with a sight that takes their breath away. The streets are deserted, but there are signs of life, of people who have come before them. There are gardens growing in the cracks of the pavement, animals roaming freely in the open spaces, and most importantly, there's a sense of peace. A feeling that this place has been cared for. Relief floods their bodies, but they know that caution is still necessary. So they move from building to building, carefully checking for signs of danger, their weapons at the ready. As they explore the city, they find evidence of the people who have lived here. Notes scribbled on scraps of paper, tools left behind, even furniture and clothing. They also find danger, a trapdoor hidden under a pile of rubble, a snare camouflaged in the bushes. They learn that they're not the only ones seeking refuge in this abandoned city. With the threat of danger looming over them, Nell and Lina's survival instincts kick in. They quickly assess their surroundings, looking for signs of danger, hiding their scent, making sure they have a clear escape route. The weight of their circumstances presses down on them, reminding them that in this world, trust is a luxury they cannot afford. They know that they must remain vigilant, that they can't let their guard down for even a moment. But they also know that they're stronger together, that their bond and their love for each other give them the strength to face whatever challenges come their way. They huddle close for warmth and comfort, their bodies pressed together, their breaths mingling in the cold air. In that moment, the darkness outside seems less menacing, the danger more surmountable. They may not know what the future holds, but they know that as long as they have each other, they can face anything. Their fingers interlaced, they stand at the edge of the forest. The ruins of the city spread out before them, silent and shrouded in mist. The wind whispers through the trees, carrying with it the promise of adventure and the threat of danger. With a deep breath, they step out of the woods, their figures silhouetted against the rising sun, ready to face whatever challenges lie ahead.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to support our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new episode. Let's grow this amazing community together.